Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone just deciding to skip Worlds. We spent a whole week talking about a thing Mo potentially skipping Worlds, and now you have her teammate, her training partner, coached by Bobby Kersey, pull out of Worlds due to a minor knee issue that she announced on Instagram a few days ago. Kevin, all right, let's just cut to the chase. Is she really hurt?
Do it.
Or is she just being super cautious for no reason?
I think she's really hurt. But I also think you're going to get one last Kevin Hedge on this pod. I also think they're being very cautious because they use the word minor to describe it. They didn't say major knee issue. The problem that people have with this is they say, well, if it's minor, run through it. If it's anybody else, just run through it. But one person's minor might be somebody else's major, and a minor injury at this point, when you do more rounds on it, might turn into something major. So I'm with you. I didn't see this coming because she didn't run a ton this year, but she was getting faster every single time she ran. And it's just disappointing. It's just disappointing. That women's 400 was going to be one of the events to watch with her, Britton Wilson, Paulino, Nasser, Adeleke. We thought Femke Bol might be in there. She's not. But Shauna Miller-Weibo, though, is in the mix. So, man, it's just tough. It's just tough. All these scratches are so hard to handle, and you don't know, not knowing the full story. It's tough to comment on it any further, other than just saying that if it's a minor situation, well, I mean, you take all necessary precautions, but man, it sure is a bummer.
Yeah, here's the thing. Elite athletes who are gold medal favorites, have coming off of world records, get hurt. That happens. And athletes have to pull out of world championships, even in the Olympics. It happens. It's a normal thing. But the thing that makes this one different is that it's kind of on, Sydney and on Bobby a bit, that they let us create this imaginary world where, like, are you really hurt? And it's kind of on them for making us even think this in the first place. If Jakob Ingebrigtsen were to announce, I got a knee injury, I'm pulling out of Worlds. It happened. Oliver Hoard just did it. He had a groin injury. He's pulling out of Worlds. No one is thinking, oh, Oliver Hoard, he's not prioritizing championship play. No, they'd be like, you're hurt. It's part of the process. Move on. But because Sydney has this little bit of like mystery to her, where like, are you actually hurt, or are you just taking it easy? And it's kind of led by Bobby Kersey giving out these quotes. It gets the fans and people thinking, like, which isn't good. Like, if you're hurt, we should just be like, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
The story should be like, it's a bummer you're hurt and you're not running. The story shouldn't be, are you really hurt? Are you not prioritizing Worlds? Like, if you're hurt, you're hurt. You shouldn't run if you're hurt. But now we're thinking you're maybe not hurt. We don't know what to believe anymore. I feel like this, like, it's kind of ruins it that she can legit be hurt, but we're always going to think, are you just playing with us and you just don't want to run again?
Well,
that's what I thought. That's what's frustrating,
I wouldn't get that, because if she didn't want to run, then she didn't need to run USAs, and she could have just said, hey, I'm going to take 2023 off, and that's just what I'm going to do. So that's what I think she's hurt. I think she's hurt. I think this is just another case. We talked about this last week when Bobby Kersey talks about his athletes to the media. I think he's trying to help. I think he's trying to be helpful. But who he really helps out is track and field content creators and podcasters, because he gives these quotes, and then you look at it and you're like, wait, what? Minor injury? Or you look at it and you say, I think Mo's going to double? Or you look at it as we're going to train through the world championships? Oh, okay. And it just creates more things to talk about. So I think that's why we're in the situation that we're in. It'd be easier. The argument would make more sense if people said, oh, she didn't want to go get Worlds. She doesn't want to go get beat. She was going to win.
She was going to win.
I saw the ending. I saw this ending before. She wins. She wins by a healthy amount. No disrespect to anybody else in the field. Sydney was winning that gold medal. So what's the motive for not running? I don't think there really is one, which is why I think they are being super duper cautious and they are just saying, let's not have something small turn into something big. But because Kersey framed it as that, we're looking at it and taking a second glance and saying, well, why would anybody miss because of a minor injury? Also, there's the thing of he doesn't want to say she's majorly injured because who does that make look bad?
Yeah, that's true.
The coach.
So it
So
could
you're
be a
not going to be
major
like, yeah,
injury that you're calling
disaster.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Here's my
these things are
question.
all on a scale. It's all on a scale. Major, minor, who can say?
You look at like in other sports when people have minor injuries, there's a level of when you still compete. In basketball, if it's a regular season game, you don't play. If it's game 1 of a playoff series, you probably don't play. But if it's like NBA finals, maybe elimination, you play. That's what got me question. If it was 2024 and she had this exact same knee injury, does she run?
Right. And that's the big question because just same thing with Mo, have world championships all of a sudden turned into the Rome Diamond League in terms of importance? Have they turned into AP Ranch meet number 6 in terms of importance or the Peyton Jordan Invitational? Because forever we realize, hey, world championships aren't as big as Olympics, but they're real close. They are right there. And if world championships have been downgraded that much farther, well, that's going to be a huge change to the sport. You brought it up last show because then you go from all right, the sport matters 3 out of every 4 years on this one day to the sport all of a sudden matters 1 out of every 4 years for this one meet. If we're starting to discard world championships, I don't
Could
think
you,
that's the case. I don't think that's the case. I think these two things happening side by side with Mo and with Sydney, I think we're going to look at this long term and think it was an injury and it was an issue. I don't think that they're related. I don't think there's some huge plan going on throughout track and field for athletes to stop competing in the world championships. I don't think that's going to happen.
no, but I do think the biggest reason this is happening is because of COVID. And I think that typically, there would have been an off year during this run, but having 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, having how many is that? 5 straight championships has never really
Yeah.
happened in the modern era. They're used to having, 3 and then off, 3 and off, not 5 and then
See,
off.
okay,
And I think this could
but
be
I don't
Bobby
like
Kersey
that.
being like, we've never done 5 in a row. You're only doing 3 in a row. So you're taking
Here's the
this one
thing,
off.
though. For track to grow, and we all want it to grow, for track to grow, what do we need to do? We need to have a world championship every year. You can't take 1 year off and just say, hey, you know what? People really sink their teeth into the Continental Cup this year. Who
Yeah.
doesn't want to see North America battle against Oceania on like September 23rd in
And I'm the
Croatia?
worst target market for that because I won't know what countries and what continent based on
Exactly. Yeah.
my
You're still wondering.
European and Commonwealth fiascos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, why didn't Ingebrigtsen win the Commonwealth 1500? People are wondering. Yeah, so I don't like that, and I don't like that. And you can run a championship every single year. You do it in college, you do it in high school, you do it in other sports. Even in non-championship years, they run big meets. There's just not medals handed out at the end of them. Now, if you need the mental break and you need to reset, I get it, but the sport as a whole can't be taking years off and still try to be relevant. It just those two things are incompatible with each other.
yeah. So I'm bummed. I
Yeah, I'm
guess
sad.
is Britton Wilson the favorite now?
Well, you know who could have been the favorite?
Paulino?
And I don't know if the PDF that Netherlands submitted athletics is editable, but Femke Bol should be on the phone right now
Tried
to
to do
who's ever
double.
doing entries and say, you know how I scratched out of the 400? Put me back in. Put me back in. Because look, you go through all the candidates now, and Bowl could do it. I mean, obviously, Paulino sub 50, but last race wasn't that quick. Wilson has had an incredibly long season.
Same with
Nasser,
Adeleke.
yeah, same with Adeleke. Nasser, I mean, we've seen her run super fast before, but this year she's certainly been beatable. I think Miller Weibo being there is awesome, very interesting. I don't know. I know she's done a heptathlon. I don't know how quick she's going to be in the quarter already. So Bull could win gold, and Bull obviously is going to win 400 hurdle gold. So she could double, but I don't know if they're going to let her sub back in. So with her not being there, it suddenly gets wide open. I guess I would say Paulino, Nasser, and Wilson would be my order.
Yeah. I think Nasser has that flash in the pan moment, but then her regular season hasn't been the same. I would expect Nasser, if she's able to run what she ran pre-suspension, which segue alert.
Well, that's fast. Yeah, no one's beating that time. If she runs that, it's over. Give her the gold. Yeah, that's not happening.
But the best athlete is Britton Wilson, but she has the biggest question mark being that she ran a very long collegiate season. And to expect her to be able to put together back-to-back sub 50s, like a 49 then a 48 or a 49 then a 47 all the way into August is going to be challenging. So